in Orlando, you were like kind of irritated, and you said, "Hey, I'm not going to be perfect." After a week, obviously, you didn't go all week this week in practice. So just kind of what flared up. How did the week go in terms of just not practicing and then working your way to this point?
I went today. Today was my first day doing live stuff, but I was battling a few nagging things leading up to that last week, and we got the 2 wins that we really needed to get, and then going on that last road trip. I knew I wasn't going to play the OKC game. Then the Orlando game was like, we don't know how everything else is going to go, so let's give it a go. And then we halfway through that game, we see Cleveland lost. Second quarter of that game, I kind of aggravated my Achilles. So after that, it was just like we got a week to get right, to get ready, and that was kind of the focus, So I didn't want to go out there with my pride or doing anything unnecessary, and that was kind of the plan.
How did you feel in practice today?
I felt solid. Obviously you take a couple of days off the court and you get back on the court. Our young guys out there doing the scout, and they running fast as hell. Getting up and down the court it was good to get back into it. But obviously it's going to take me that much time. I need it today, and then tomorrow will be a better day. Even if it's not live, I'll just feel better after getting into action and be ready for Sunday.
We've been over all the things that you're listed on the injury report. I didn't look it up, but what do you feel like was bothering you kind of the most out of all that stuff?
I would say just my adductor. That was something that had bothered me for a while. I came back off of missing those couple games, and the first game back, I think it was a Toronto game, and I played. It was like a high-minute game for me, my first game back. I think Giannis sat, maybe Chris sat. Did Chris sit that game too? So, it was just a heavy load game, and then I was just real sore after that, and adductor got a little irritated. Achilles was a little irritated. And then, from there, it was just like, man, we need to win these games so I can just get all the way right, and that's kind of what we've used this week as.
I was wondering, what can you do for those 2 things? I thought Achilles basically just rest. Is that what you're doing? Do you have something like?
I think if it was something major, then you would rest it. But you just gotta load it up. Continue to build the strength around it. A lot of calf raises, single leg, jumping rope, jumps, stuff like that, so that you build the strength up around it to support it. And that's kind of been like the process.
Is it the type of thing where if this were the regular season, you might be out for a week or 2 or something like that? Or
I don't think so. It's one of those things where it's how I feel. And early in the week I was like, it ain't worth going out there just to be out there, to be tough. I want it to be right. And as the week is going on, it's gotten better, with the amount of load I've put on it, the exercises, the treatment, the contrast, hot tub, cold tub, everything is kind of going in the right direction, and I was able to get out there today.
Doctor kind of said, all right, well, if when a player like Giannis is out, it's going to be Chris and Dame.
Yeah.
You were out, so he's like, we really loaded up Chris. Chris is probably pretty tired right now.
Yeah.
We did everything like that. He said today was that day for you where you kind of got all those reps.
Yeah.
So just what is it like kind of prepping for this, without Giannis and trying to get yourself ready for it?
I think the good part about it is, it's not something that's unfamiliar. We've had our stretches of games where we've been shorthanded, and we kind of know what it's going to look like for us out there. So that was good. And then I think just being able to at least get today, to have some practice reps, to go over our scouting report and be on the floor defensively, and then offensively seeing the type of actions that we're going to want to be in without Giannis, and some of the situations, how they might guard it, having to play against a young, energetic, athletic group. They just kind of flying around all over the place. And I think they gave us a great look, probably played a little bit faster than what we even going to see, not taking the ball out. It was just super fast. They were super aggressive. So I thought, it was good preparation.
When you're on strength in the spot, do you relish the playoffs? Are you ready for whatever will come, and you're relish it and say it's a good time?
Yeah, I think that's probably my biggest strength. Not just as a basketball player, but as a person. I think in my life and in my basketball career, I've had extremely high moments and I've had extremely low moments, you know. As a kid, you know, I experienced a lot of things that I wouldn't want my kids to experience that, you know, I was able to bounce back from. And I've experienced a lot of moments in my childhood as well where I felt great about myself, you know, so I know how to handle both. And then even being in the NBA, you know, I've been a 3 seed. I think it was like my 6th year. We was a 3 seed and we got swept, you know, and that was as bad as it could get. You know, it was all my fault. Oh, Dame ain't this, Dame ain't that. The next year we go to the Western Conference Finals as a 3 seed, and that was kind of like a high for me right after probably the biggest low of my career. So I think just having that experience of knowing what the bottom feels like and then knowing what it feels like to be up, you know, I'm not moved left or right. You know, when things go bad or if I get criticism or if it goes great, I'm not going to get carried away with that either. But regardless, I'm prepared to go out there and get something done. You know, I think this is one thing that I've been thinking about all week is, you know, I've gone my whole career, you know, wanting the opportunity to win, and I always thought I had a chance to win. But being in this situation, you know, I keep taking myself back to how I feel when I got traded here, you know, and realizing the opportunity that was in front of me. And now that the regular season is over and we kind of like we got this first round of the playoffs, and then it's going to be the second, then it's the third, then it's the fourth, you know, and we got to take it a game at a time. And that's what I kind of refocus myself on that. You know, the season is over, and this is what, you know, this is what we came here to have an opportunity to do, you know, whether we're healthy or not. Eventually we will be, and, you know, if our mind is right, we're going to have every opportunity to get something done.
What is it like having the expectations this time around on you personally than what it was like in Portland at different times?
I don't think it's really that different. You know, I think people like to focus on a player's performance. You know, it don't even seem like people care if you win or lose. It's just like, oh, he didn't play great or he played great. You know, and I think in Portland it was always people wanted to see what kind of performance I would have. I don't think nobody ever really expected us to win. You know, but they would, if we didn't win, they would talk about it like they expected us to win. And I think here, if you look at what people say, they don't expect us to win either, you know, the way they talk at least. But then if we don't, they're going to continue to talk. So it really means nothing at the end of the day. We got to be who we are. We got to come out and just understand what we want to accomplish and what that's going to take from us, and let the chips fall where they fall after that.
With the kind of refocusing now, this playoff time, what do you take from the regular season series, the pace of even though it's, you know, so long ago, the trade ago, the coach ago, all that's changed since.
I think the biggest thing is just understanding, you know, why they beat us 4 times. You know, obviously we're a different team, they're a different team. You know, it's been trades, we have a different coach now. You later into the season, you know, people's bodies feel different. A lot more is on the line. You know, things change. But I think we just got to look back and see what hurt us. You know, why did they beat us 4 times? And we got to learn from that, and we got to be able to apply that to how we, you know, approach the series in every game. But other than that, I think it's also important for us to understand that once you get that part out the way, it doesn't really matter. You know, I've seen people get blown out by teams in the regular season, and it's a completely different story, you know, once you get to the playoffs. And I've seen teams have success against the team in the regular season, and then they come in comfortable in the playoffs and they have success again. So I think we got to understand both sides. But the most important thing is understanding why they beat us 4 times.
Giannis, how important does Brook become offensively?
I think he's extremely important. Even with Giannis on the floor, he's important. But without him, I think it just makes it even more of a collective thing for our team. So I know I'm going to have to put a little more into it. Chris is going to have to put more into it. Bobby's going to have to put more into it. And so is Brook. But I don't think it's something where we just turn and look at Brook and say, all right, you know, Giannis is out, you got to go crazy. But I think everybody understands that, you know, we're going to have to come out and just put a little bit more into it. And like I said before, it's a good thing for us that we've been in this situation, you know, a few times this year.
With Bobby, it seems he's hurt his play out the last 2-3 weeks. What's the difference you've seen in him late in the season? He played well all year.
I think just more opportunity. You know, we've dealt with our share of injuries, and when guys go down, got to be able to score points, and he's one of our better scorers. And, you know, if I'm not on the floor or Chris isn't on the floor or Giannis isn't on the floor, Bobby's going to get more opportunity. And, you know, this league is full of talent, you know, and full of players that can get it done. It's just a matter of when they get opportunity and how much opportunity they get. So I think with all the injuries that we've had, he's been given more opportunity just to show what he's capable of, and he's been able to do that consistently for us. So it's going to take more of that from him in this series.
You mentioned the naysayers, and I'm just curious, there are a lot of people at the national level who are picking Indiana to win. Do you make notes of that? Do you brush it off? What type of personality are you in that regard when you hear negative feedback?
I don't get too carried away with it. I think when I was younger, I used to take it personal, you know, like all the time. But I learned that when people jump out with opinions and, you know, what they think is going to happen, or, you know, like I saw somebody say, Dame's not happy in Milwaukee, you know, or something like that. And I know the truth, you know. I love the situation that I'm in. I also know what I have going on outside of basketball that kind of drains me at times, you know. So people going to make comments, people going to say things. And if it doesn't go the way that they say it's going to go, nobody's ever come to them and said, all right, you said this, now, you know, what do you have to say about it? They never have to. They're never held accountable for what they say publicly. You know, people just move on to the next thing. And because of that, I think it's even more important to just let them say whatever they're going to say, positive or negative, and just do what you got to do. And that's my approach to it.
Last one. Yeah, you mentioned you haven't been down here since this is sort of on court but off. You were kind of non-committal about Team USA at the time. How did that decision making go? I know you were in the original pool and this feeling of not being on the team this year.
I was in the original pool. They reached out to me like maybe 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago about it, and I told them I was interested. But my number one focus was always like this season. You know, being away from my family, being away from my kids, it was something that I was never 100% committed to. For that reason, you know, it would have been hard to have a long season here and then take off and go play in the Olympics and just missing that time with my kids and my family. You know, that was something that was more on my mind than anything. So I'm not bothered by it at all. You know, I never committed to it, and I was also never like, I don't want to go. You know, so the roster, I think they got a full roster now. So I mean, I'm not offended by it at all. You know, it is what it is.